New Mexico is the most secret state in the Union. Historically, its deserts and skies have been the center for more highly classified and secret scientific projects than any other place on Earth. The suspicion is that some strange top-secret military experiment could lie behind the Roswell mystery. "50 years ago, the first atomic bomb was detonated in the Trinity test near White Sands. This summer, stealth warplanes were still on test flights in the skies above New Mexico. And almost half a century earlier, their predecessor, the Flying Wing, was also seen in these skies. In 1947, White Sands was the location where America developed its early missile technology with V-2 rockets captured from the Nazis. Nazi scientists had been secretly relocated at the end of the war to develop the first stage of America's space program. Werner von Braun, the inventor of the V-2, was in charge of the operation. It is known that animal experiments were part of the American space program in the 1950s. But could there have been any as early as 1947?
One series, which was known as Project Albert, which launched a chimpanzee or a monkey, a small monkey, in one of the nose cones. Needless to say, the monkey didn't survive due to some technical difficulties with the nose cone re-entering into the Earth's atmosphere.
When was that?
That was probably around the late 40s and the early 50s. And this was even before the famous Ham, the space chimpanzee, which was trained over at the Alamogordo Air Force Base.
Could it have been as early as 1947?
Probably around 1947. I know that Project Albert began with, I believe, V2 number 47.
Our investigation reveals for the first time that animal experiments may have been conducted much earlier than was previously thought. If so, then could the Roswell incident have been some highly secret experiment that went catastrophically wrong? Is it possible that a V-2 rocket with animals on board could have gone astray and may account for the descriptions of bodies and strange debris offered by so many witnesses at Roswell? Could the metal with the curious properties at the Foster Ranch have come from a crashed V-2?
We have researched our records extensively, and on that specific date and time, and even that month, we had nothing that could conceivably be within that area. We had been launching some balloons, but nothing in that particular month when the crash at Roswell occurred. And all of our rockets that we did launch could be accounted for during that time period, and there was nothing that White Sands had available at that time that could reach that far over to Roswell. As far as White Sands is concerned, we're pretty clean on this incident.
If the military authorities are to be believed, the records rule out the possibility of a crashed V-2. But the military admitted lying before to cover up something more secret. It is this possibility which leads many to believe that the cover-up continues. And according to Ray Santilli, the cameraman of the alleged alien autopsy seems to offer a tantalizing clue.
They're not alien creatures as far as he's concerned. He just calls the creatures freaks all the time. He says they've got no reason to be here, and he says he doesn't know what they are. Our cameraman's a very religious guy. He just refuses to believe. And he was there at the time. He saw everything that happened, but he refuses to believe that these are extraterrestrials. He just says that, it's just some goddamn experiment, and that's it. He just calls them freaks. You have to remember, this is a cameraman that was there at White Sands, with the Trinity experiments as well. It appears that lots of weird and wonderful things happened at that time.
As well as the autopsy, there is footage of strange debris, allegedly recovered at the site of a crashed space vehicle. Whatever the Santilli film represents, there is no question it demands serious investigation. These symbols bear some resemblance to actual letters. V-I-D-E-O, video. Despite doubts about its authenticity, we took the film to America to show to some of the witnesses that we originally interviewed about the Roswell incident.
The symbols are vaguely consistent with my memory, since I can't be absolutely sure though, but they certainly could be consistent with what I saw. The differences would be the size and the fact that the ones I saw were not raised above the level of the beam.
I'm trying to count the fingers in there. That's 6. I don't recall 6 fingers though. I don't know. It could. I won't swear to it, John. I don't recall a 6 finger though. To be honest with you, it doesn't look too close to the Roswell incident. I can say that much.
Dr. Ian West is one of Britain's leading forensic pathologists. He's frequently called upon by Scotland Yard in murder investigations.
The blood is pattern is unusual. You don't normally get, that incision has been open for some time now. We've got 4 little trails running from it. Although we have a number of quite distinct linear trails, dark trails, which look like blood trails, they're not of the nature that I would expect to see at a post-mortem. I would see some more smearing, some more irregularity in the blood loss from the margins of the incision. One has seen one distinctive organ removed from the upper central abdominal region. It's of the size of a liver, but it's not of the liver shape, and it's not in the liver position. I've seen no intestines that I can distinguish. I can't distinguish the thoracic organs. It certainly doesn't resemble, from what one can see here, any human remains that I've ever seen. There's just no evidence to say this is definitely nothing on the film which makes me say this is definitely a hoax. My feeling is that probably about 98% feeling is that this is probably a man-made hoax. I have, as I say, a 2% area where I don't know.
In my opinion, I think it's a special effect. It's man-made. It's a good special effect. It's not going to be a cheap item. It's going to be, a few $100,000 probably. It's difficult to say when something like that could have been made. Certainly in the 60s they were doing things at Hammer which were very similar. I guess that it was not before the 60s, but sort of mid-60s I would think would be the earliest it could be. I don't think anyone could be certain that it's a special effect. I mean, it's how do I know what the inside of aliens look like? No one knows. I know what the inside of foam rubber and polyurethane foam looks like, and it looks very similar.
Many people who are deeply suspicious about the film think that you could be behind the hoax yourself. What have you got to say to that?
I'll still go back to what I said before. If someone, even if it was our company, wanted to hoax a piece of footage, why not do the job properly? Why not create something that really looks like an alien creature? Why come up with something where you've got these unnecessary hurdles of saying, well, is it human or is it not human? And in answer to your question, we didn't hoax it.
Are you sure?
Absolutely sure. 100% sure. I mean,
As of this moment, there is no conclusive evidence to prove that the film is either genuine or a hoax. Establishing its provenance is a critical factor in moving the Roswell mystery closer to resolution. One vital step would be to have the film chemically analysed by a photographic laboratory.
Are you going to provide proper film extract which can be properly tested by Kodak, which has proper images on it?
I'll provide you with a film. I'll provide you with what I can, which will be a film with image, and the only way that I can do that is by securing some film from the collector that booked the first autopsy, which is currently en route to us.